Hi, my name is Ashley Shaw. My name on here is the British Girl. Um, where to start? So I've been thinking of doing this video for a while because I've seen lots of videos on YouTube of people who have mental issues and things like that that have been really inspiring to me, and so I thought maybe I would make one of my own. So I have had chemical depression probably since about eighth grade. I'm now, so when I was about 14, and now I am 23 years old. Um, I in so I had just the regular that chemical depression. My serotonin levels weren't high enough. So for those of you who think that depression is always something, either always something that is caused by some traumatic event, that's not necessarily the case. It's situational depression. And then those of you that think that depression is just, oh, I feel crappy today, my boyfriend broke up with me, that's not the case either. There's no reason for it. I've had a great life. I haven't had any traumatic events. Just one day in eighth grade, I woke up and felt numb and felt apathetic and lethargic, and this continued on for years and years. Um, in I think it was either ninth grade or 10th grade, I started cutting. I used scissors because it's kind of funny. I'm actually super scared of things like needles or sharp things. Like I hate pain. I almost passed out when I got my ears pierced. Um, so even I don't understand how I was able to do that. But I would use scissors and you know cut on my hands, and I would just get so emotional. And just was overwhelmed emotionally, and the only thing I could do to stop crying was to cut. Um, Most people who cut, I mean, it's not a regular, how to say this, it's not something that your brain just comes up with. It's cutting, out of all the self mutilation, it usually comes from hearing about it. I knew a girl in my high school who did it, and at the time I was very upset with her and couldn't believe that she would do that. And but then one day I ended up doing it. So often it's because you hear the idea from somebody else, um, and then it gets stuck in your head, and that's what you go to. Um, I became addicted to it. Um, at first, it was just, cutting on the times when I felt upset. After that, it was, I mean, I did it in school. I don't know how I got away with it, but I did it in school. Any sharp thing at all, like a paper clip, I would undo a paper clip and use that. A safety pin. It turned into even just my nails, or I would bite the skin there. I don't have visible scarring that you can see. It, I mean, I know where it is. Like, I can see faint traces of it, but if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't know. I got really lucky in that sense. Did not want to have to explain to my future kids why I have this. Um, yeah, so, sorry, I'm trying to think of where I want to go with this. I So I was, doing the cutting thing. I tried many things on my own to stop. I tried snapping the rubber band on my hand. Didn't do anything. In fact, it just made me more aware of my wrist and wanting to cut more. I tried scratching on a paper with a red pen because I heard that that can distract you because what your body wants to see is that red color. That didn't do anything either. Um, it got really bad my senior year. I used to hide it wearing long sweaters and stuff. But one day I came downstairs, was talking to my parents, and was scratching my face like this. And my mom saw that my hand was bleeding. Um, and she started freaking out and, you know, screaming, "How could you be doing this? What is wrong with you?" Total flip out mode. Luckily, my dad got her to just calm down, leave, and he talked with me. And, my parents tried a lot of different things to get me to stop. Um, they tried um, I mean, well, first, of course, they took away all sharp objects. I couldn't have any sharp objects in my room. Um, and, all scissors, everything. They took, they hid my medicine because I did try to overdose on my depression medicine that I was on. So they took that away and were only giving me the dose that I needed. Um, they, I often was told, if you don't stop, you're going to have to go, we're going to call the hospital and you'll have to go and be on suicide watch and everything. And what they didn't understand was that I wasn't, at that, when I was cutting, I wasn't trying to necessarily kill myself. I was just trying to relieve that pain. Um, and I kept thinking, like, oh, it's with scissors. It's not going to be deep enough. I'm never going to actually cut a vein and bleed out and die or anything. I didn't realize how close I actually was to doing that. Um, So what actually ended up helping, I know not everybody's religious, so this doesn't necessarily work for everybody, but my mom begged me to go back to church. I hadn't been for a very long time, probably since my depression started, so she begged me to go back to church. I ended up going to New Heights, and I just went like, oh, what the heck, go make her happy. So I went to the youth group class, and I kid you not, there was a speaker there, female speaker, um, was talking about how she used to cut, how she had horrible depression, how she was addicted to cutting, and how she got help. And I mean, my jaw hit the floor. You always hear these stories about these miracle, amazing things that happen connected to God and stuff. And, usually I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay, okay. But, this was absolutely a God moment for me. I mean, if I hadn't gone to church that day, I don't know if I'd still be here basically. Um, I think it would have gotten really bad to the point where I might have accidentally hit that vein and, you know, that would be my last chance. Um, so this gal talked to me about this group called Life Hurts, God Heals. It was basically kind of like an AA meeting. You sat in there with a group of people you didn't know saying, hi, my name's Ashley Shaw. I'm here because I cut and I need to get over it. Um, so, I went through that, and the first week it sucked. It was horrible. I didn't want to go back. I cried my eyes out. I just did not want to go back there. My mom told me, just give it a couple more weeks, just try it. So I went again, and I think a lot of it was humbling because there were so many different people. There were all these different problems. One girl was, her dad was sexually abusing her. Um, and then another girl just had some low self-esteem. It was just all these different, you know, ranges from the worst possible thing to something that was just, happens to teenagers. And I was able to kind of see how I fit in there and realize, you know, that what I was doing, and I've noticed I was able to come to this conclusion myself, was that, you know, being suicidal or doing these things to myself was really one of the most self-centered things that I could do. Um, and not because I was wanting attention. It was because of the fact that I was not thinking about what I was doing, how it can impact the people around me who love me, like my parents. If anything had happened to me, they would be heartbroken. Um, my boyfriend at the time, my best friends. I mean, there was so many people out there that I didn't think they weren't on my mind at all about, what happens if I go too far and I end up killing myself. Like, how is that going to impact other people? That wasn't on my mind. Um, and so realizing that and seeing, I was able to see some things in my life that I felt I didn't have control over, and that was part of why I was having depression and turning to cutting because I felt like I could get control back. Um, so by the 6th week in this program, I had completely stopped cutting. I didn't even think about it. I won't say that in the past 6 years I've never thought about it. There was one time that I actually did do it again, but it pretty much traumatized me after that point. I was just so shocked that I'd gone back to that. I just didn't. It's I mean, that happened about 3 years ago, and it hasn't been on my mind since. So for those of you out there who have experience self-mutilation, self-harm, um, you feel like, your parents aren't understanding or your friends aren't understanding. That was the biggest thing, is that I really separated myself from my friends. Um, they didn't understand what was going on. It freaked them out. They didn't want to be near me. And I pushed my family away. And I know that some people don't have as great of a family as I do, but there is what I call your obligation family, and your family of choice. I'm lucky that my family of obligation is also a family that I choose. If there are people out there who you do not connect with your family, I know that there's somebody out there that can be your family of choice, whether it's a super close friend or someone you look up to, anybody like that. Absolutely go and talk to them. You can message me if you want. If any questions that you have, please be polite in the comments. I don't want some big cuss out thing. I'm gonna delete your comment if I see it, so just don't bother. I just really want this to be a safe place for people to seek help, or to even just talk about their problems. Any kind of depression. I've been on depression medication for about 8 years now, and I really have no problem being on it for the rest of my life. It doesn't bother me. I don't experience very many side effects from it, and it keeps me going. It brings me up enough where I can go the rest of the way, basically. So I know this is a long video. Most people are probably not going to watch it, but if anybody wants to talk to me, you can private message me or leave a comment down below, and I will absolutely respond to your comment. Just the biggest thing is to look for those people in your life who really care about you and who will be there for you, and talk to them about it. Um, that's really the most important thing. Don't be by yourself. Don't hole yourself up in your room with your music and, in the dark. That's what I did that. Don't do that. Get in some activities that interest you, whether it's sports or some sort of artistic thing. I did theater. It helped a lot, just to keep your mind off of that kind of stuff. And don't feel like there's something necessarily wrong with you, um, because you can get over these things, whether by your own power or with help from other people. So just let me know. Thank you for listening, and um, I just hope that um, this video helped, even just a little bit. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.